Rigo obviously looking to shoot more hurtful, more purposeful shots. I think, judging now with hindsight being 2020, I think his intention was to maybe up the hurtful shots in the second half of the fight. Once Solis was confident enough to take some chances.
Yeah, I don't think he wanted to get hit with as many punches as he did in round one, but nonetheless.
No, I definitely don't think so, Al. But I also don't think many of those shots got in. He did get hurt, but his intent even in round one was sort of to keep the high guard and maybe test out the power of Solis, which unfortunately for him he tested.
Yeah, right hand gets in for Solis, and that's the only thing it's been getting there. And we look at the power punches landed. Again, everything other than the jab. And you can see how it's tightened up. You know, after round one, clearly Solis with a monstrous edge. But now...
Wow, Rigondeaux hasn't even thrown 100 on round 9. But Solis definitely has to do a much better job of trying to corral Rigondeaux.
You see Rigo now shooting more counters. Yes. You know, he's starting to get a little more active, but he's a timing guy, and he's strictly a timing guy. He won't come out of his comfort zone either. You know, so he's not going to take those chances, but he's now seeing the shots a little bit better as opposed to just making a miss. Now he's also trying to make them pay.
And when he was at his best, Rigondeaux's timing would make metronomes envious. And Tukstad Nyambayar says that his timing will be the key and maybe the difference against the incredible speed of Russell. Oh, there's a counter left hand there. Another big shot for Rigondeaux.
And that's, go ahead. I'm sorry. That's where Solis squared up coming in. He does that, and he can't do that against Rigondeaux, obviously.
And this is going to test the character of Solis. Is he going to now go into his shell, which what Rigo used to get guys to do in his prime, or is Solis going to continue to take chances knowing that he's walking into some of these big shots?
We are through 9 rounds here. 118-pound fight. First boxing event at PPL Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania. And let us reset our Showtime broadcast team for you here at the PPL Center tonight. I'm Mauro Ranallo. Along with me at ringside are analysts, Hall of Famer Al Bernstein, former 2-division champion Paulie Malignaggi. Jim Gray is our intrepid reporter. Steve Farhood, Showtime resident boxing historian, providing our unofficial scoring. And you can hear our broadcasts in Spanish by using the SAP function, where you will hear Alejandro Luna and former champ Raul Marquez providing the commentary. Felix de Jesus serves as our Spanish interpreter. And into the center of the ring, it is a classy Hall of Famer Jimmy Lennon Jr. and, of course, keeping everything together, our host with the most, because Brian Custer. We need to hire a few more voices. Come on now.
We need more announcers, that's for sure.
All right, here we go. Always a pleasure, and let's hope that round 10 produces a little more.
Let me say something too. This is as talented and as camaraderie-filled a group as I have ever been around in 40 years of broadcasting.
Do you have Cash App, Al? I'd like to make that. Thank you, sir. It's an amazing time, isn't it?
All right. The compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a delightful group.
How do Rigondeaux and Solis look to complement each other here in round 10? Rigondeaux continues to stick to the pattern, and again, Shields didn't want what he saw against Sea, but definitely going all the way to the other side of the spectrum. And yet he's shown his power. He has dropped Solis.
Yeah, the irony is Rigondeaux lands about 43% of his power punches, again, everything other than the jab. Tonight he's landing 42%. So while he has deadened this fight, as he sometimes does, in order to win it, in terms of percentage of what he throws and what he lands power-wise, it's very good.
Yeah, he definitely doesn't waste punches. But you know what? He did listen to Ronnie Shields. Right in between the rounds, the round he knocked him down. Yep. Right before that, Ronnie had told him. Absolutely. Ronnie Shields had told him. Great trainer Ronnie Shields. He told him, you know, you can move around, but make it count. You know, you got to throw some shot. You got to engage, and sure enough, he did.
Yeah, twice in this fight. The first time he told him after round 1, don't do that. Don't stand right in front of him.
Shot there again.
And Rigondeaux unloading with the left, and another left as Solis standing right in front of him gets momentarily rattled, but still standing vertical, eyes wide open.
Solis is going to lose the habit of making faces at the end of every round soon.
overhand to the body by Rigondeaux and then avoids the counter right by Solis. Final minute of the 10th.
He wanted Rigo to engage it, but every time he engages, it's not good for Solis. I think Solis was probably better off. And Rigo is kind of sleepwalking through the rounds.
Again, Rigondeaux goes downstairs, avoids the attack upstairs.
Well, what Solis wants is for Rigondeaux to stand in front of him and make this a fight on the inside where they engage. And there he has some opportunity, but when it's at a certain distance, even a mid-range, there's a problem.
I'll tell you, let sleeping dogs lie, because you know when Solis has the best chance to win the fight is when Rigo's doing nothing at all.
No,
you know, by making faces at him and by doing all that, you kind of start pissing him off, and you're gonna remind him to throw those power shots.
Targets the midsection with the left hand.
See at the end of this round if he makes a face. See? He learned his lesson.
Let's get some water on your head here and see if you wake up a little bit. Come on. Let's go. Here we go. Wake up. Feel better? Okay. You got to keep working. There's only 2 rounds left, and we're down on the fight. You need to know what you're going to do in these last 2 rounds to win this fight.
A big moment in the last round for Rigondeaux as he has countering Solis as he comes in. Rigondeaux gets out of the corner himself, classic move, and then lands that beautiful straight left hand. So we saw 2 elements there. We saw the great movement by Rigondeaux and the straight left, and then lands another one at a moment when Solis was in trouble.
And the cinematic spraying of water mixed with sweat.
Earlier, so.
Well, boxing's as cinematic as it gets. Here we go, round number 11. At Ring of Truth, who is going to discover the biggest truths about themselves here as Rigondeaux debuting at 118 pounds despite being 39 years of age. 37-year-old Laborio Solis is a former belt holder at 115 pounds, and as we've touched on throughout the fight, fighters in lighter weight classes mature at an early age. So the fact that these two are in their late 30s fighting at 118 pounds, highly unusual.
Yeah, it really is. When these fighters get to the championship rounds, Rigondeaux, of course, is undefeated, and Solis 5-2, which is also a good record. But right now, they are correct in Solis's corner when they suggest to him that he needs to probably make something dramatic happen. Though I don't think the scoring in this fight is probably outrageously wide. It would seem Rigondeaux would be ahead.
And according to our unofficial score, Steve Farhood, Rigondeaux's up by 1 point. There's a right hand by Solis.
Best shot he's landed in a few rounds.
Final 90 seconds of the 11th round. And Rigondeaux doesn't exactly respect the power of Solis. His hands down at his waist, trying to draw Solis into that right hand, and then he was able to parry it with his left.
Footwork of Rigondeaux kind of gets lost in all of this, you know.
Done very well.
Because people, you know, will look at the lack of output and sort of complain, but you know, the genius of Rigondeaux sort of was one of the reasons it's sort of unappreciated. I know it's not a lot of action many times, but he is a little genius, even in every little detail he's doing. He's got inside the ring, and even the subtle footwork. This is a 39-year-old we're talking about here with this subtle.
Well, I think that's the part. The age part especially kind of punctuates it, because at that age to be able to do it is pretty extraordinary.
But he's not moving a lot, and that's kind of why his footwork is so subtly good. You know, I think at 39 you can't move a lot. He's moving, but you see he's not killing his legs with this movement. He's not bouncing all over the place. Here he is for a second, but sort of just kind of pacing through the ring. And so in this way you can conserve your legs and you can conserve your energy. So even at 39 years old, you can handle the pace.
How much energy do they have left to expend in the final 3 minutes of this fight, as there's 15 seconds left here in the 11th, and we are headed to the 12th and final round. Solis has been down once in the fight. And now Rigondeaux baiting him to come at him.
Last round, good luck. Okay, enough. Just the last round. You got to pick it up. You got to finish strong. Okay? We need a strong finish. All right? Let's go. No professional. Let's go.
Don't worry about it. This is your last round. You got to go for the knockout, okay? You got to knock him out so we can win this fight. Don't look at me that way. I'm asking you to knock him out. You got to put the pressure on him. We're in the 12th round? Yeah, we are. So let's go. You know what you got to do, all right?
Both fighters may know what they have to do. Will they be able to do it? 12th and final round. They touch gloves, and 40 seconds into round 7, Solis was knocked into the ropes. Benji Estevez ruled it a knockdown. That's been the only knockdown of the fight, and Solis now coming forward. He is yet to recapture the whirlwind of activity that he was in the first round.
And, you know, I think Ronnie Shields showed us why he's a fantastic trainer. He wants to make sure there's no chance that in those middle rounds, all those dull rounds, that maybe there were some that didn't go Rigondeaux's way, that they don't accidentally leave this one on the table. So go in there and make sure you win this round decisively.
And Rigo came on to 2 sharp left hands to start the round, sort of just, set the tone to let Solis know, listen, don't come out of pocket.
Solis coming in, but unable to throw a punch. Remember, we saw high drama in the 12th and final round of our opener, where Jason Velez dropped Jaime Arboleda, but then Arboleda pulled out the split decision victory. We're into the final, less than 2 minutes here in this fight at 118 pounds, as both Rigondeaux and Solis vying for his secondary 118-pound title, as Rigondeaux stabs Solis in the midsection with a jab. What's Rigondeaux footwork a little more interesting here, Paulie?
Well, he's basically wasting all the energy he didn't. He saved so much that he's got extra energy now.
Out the soles of his feet instead of through his gloves.
He still has some in the tank, so he's going to use it.
But he's still trying to bait. All of this is also he's trying to bait Solis so he can counter with a big shot. We talk about his footwork, but it's not like he's been running. He's been in punching range almost the entire
fight.
fight.
He's the matador, but he's acting like the bull there with the
Look, he's in range
soles.
almost the entire fight.
There's a right hand that lands.
Yeah, he hasn't made it a track meet, even with some. There have been periods where he's had tons of lateral movement, but not for the most part. No,
I don't know if anyone's really wanting to secure the round, as it were, as Rigondeaux content to just utilize that footwork. Solis standing the center of the ring, and the crowd here at the PPL Center in Allentown, Pennsylvania, letting them know what they think of what they have witnessed in this secondary 118-pound title fight.
Solis' nose didn't make itself come out either, though.
He fought that. We try him more coverage. He fight solid the way he fought.